Hello and welcome. It's time for another Deck Tech. I'm Randy Buehler, joined by Dan Ward. Welcome.
Thanks.
Now, we're going to be talking about white-black control. We're kind of working our way through some of the expected decks as we came into this tournament. You've been playing black-white for quite a while.
Yeah, I've been playing black-white since black-white wasn't popular, and it's still not popular. But
it's actually number 3 this weekend. If you go by the archetypes.
Okay.
I mean, maybe you can divide things up differently, but it's up there.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So green, white, and like Bant have been like the menace of Standard for a while, and I've been championing a black-white deck that is unlike any of the other black-white decks that people are playing.
Okay.
And I'm not just talking about like the ones now that like the Angel, the Bracella combos in there, because that's a thing people are doing now. I've been playing a mixture of stuff, using creatures as opposed to planeswalkers by gaining my small amounts of advantage, because the black-white decks, they focus on like a Jund style of they're going to get incrementally ahead. They're not going to just, well, now they have Bracella, but...
And not just playing, but doing well.
Yeah, I've been doing really well. I think, the last 4 Grand Prix, I top-8'd New York. I lost to Seth. He's really good.
That happens.
He was also black-white. And I topped, the other 3, I topped 64, and I was playing for winning in for another top 8. So the deck's been really good to me.
All right, now, I want to go through the deck, but I got to ask you about this story. I heard about your round 1. This isn't a constructed story, but you played against Luis Gadvargas. And what exactly did he do to you? So
I'm the first to sit out the draft table, and then LSV's a second. So already, my day's going really awesome.
Sure.
But getting to the story, I'm a turn away from killing LSV. We're both playing red-white, very aggressive deck. He has the card Assembled Alpha in play, which is a 5/5 that says whenever it becomes blocked or does blocking, it does 3 damage to the creature and 3 to the player. So he played a card which made me force attack. Sure. And I'm looking at my hand. I have combat tricks and tramplers, and I'm like...
And you're at like 20.
I'm at like... Yeah, I'm pretty much close to 20, like 18 or whatever. And I'm like, if he blocks wrong, he's dead. If he blocks right and doesn't have any combat tricks, he's dead. Go to attacks. He casts Give No Ground, +2/+6. He can block all of my creatures. There's 7 triggers for 3 damage on the stack, and I just die instantly.
So Give No Ground lets Assembled Alphas block 7 creatures.
7 creatures.
And deal 21 to your face.
Yeah, and I'm just like, welcome to Pro Tour.
Oh, that is quite the combo.
Yeah, at least it was game 3.
Oh, great. I'm glad you could laugh about it. That is quite the story. All right, back to constructed. Let's talk about black-white. Let's start looking at some of the cards in this deck. I mean, black-white control, this is just kill all the stuff, right? Trade cards.
I want to do a lot of trading and killing, Sylvan Advocate being one of the key cards of the format right now. One of the cards that I really like that's on here is Transgress the Mind. With testing for this PT, it's really phenomenal versus both Bant Company and Green White. However, there was a lot of talk of Ramp coming back, Emerge decks coming back. I just happened to lose to an Emerge deck this last round, and I was really happy to have 3 of these in my deck. I want to be able to take the Elder Deep Fiends and the Ramp cards that they gain.
Now, is this deck, you talked a lot about Bant and Green White, is that the metagame you were expecting coming in?
Yes, between the last 2 Star City tournaments and just the Grand Prix circuit overall, there's been a ton of those decks. There was 50% of the meta in both of those, and I expect to play against those, and I guess the third outlier would be humans, not counting any brews.
Sure. So some of the Delirium and the zombies that are running around in the Emerge decks, maybe another angle that you may not necessarily be prepared for?
Yeah, I'm not necessarily, I'm kind of prepared for it, but it's very swingy, because versus the zombie decks, the Kalitas is the key. If the Kalitas can resolve, then you're going to win the game. But
sure. Yeah, we can keep going, actually. I think I've got the creatures up next.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Kalitas is the key to winning that matchup. It's really good in this deck particular, because you're just going to curve out. You're going to kill a guy, or play a guy, and then play this card. And if they don't have an answer for it, as soon as you untap, you're just, taking the game.
Makes sense.
This card is crazy. People do not know about this card and should. This interaction between Hangerback and Avacyn with this, or just sacking the zombie token to Avacyn, gaining the incremental points of life when you really need to. I've never done the last ability, so I'm kind of sad about that. Exile and some stuff, that's living the dream. But this is the perfect thing I want to be doing on 2. And it just blocks Sylvan Advocate. It blocks everything. People don't want to attack into it. It makes your opponent commit more to the main board, so that your Languish and your Tragic Arrogance are just paid off in tenfold.
Makes sense.
So I really like this card. Hangerback, it's not good in Reflector Mage standard, but when it's not good, I've had plays where I'll play it, and then Reflector Mage will return it to my hand. Then I'll play Avacyn and pitch it for 0 and kill all their creatures.
That combo's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so a bunch of creatures. Let's keep going.
Okay, so here's the spells. I mentioned Tragic Arrogance. There's nothing like, you're living it. If you play Kalitas on turn 4 and then Tragic Arrogance against anyone, it feels really good. Languish, it's a one of. I went up to 2 of this. I had 2 Languish and 1 Tragic. I wanted to avoid Spell Queller, and I wanted to be able to deal with stuff that like Avacyn doesn't provide, like, you know, not like saving the stuff like Ultimate Price, but as far as like the sacrifice was a big, like Westfell Abbey, things like that.
Okay.
I wanted to deal with.
And then a couple of catch-all removal spells, Anguish Unmaking, Ruinous Path.
I'm killing all the creatures, so I want to hedge and have some things to take care of Planeswalkers. Anguish Unmaking is great. The one thing you need to know about it with Anguish Unmaking, the 3 life is definitely a cost. This isn't Vindicate. Like, there's been games where, like, I actually lose from having the Anguish, but, you know what I mean? It's a trade-off for having that powerful of a spell.
Makes sense. Keep going.
All right, now it's to the meat and potatoes of the deck. So Read the Bones is like the card you always wanted to cast on turn 3.
Okay.
However, now we have Liliana, the Last Hope.
Yeah, this seems like the huge new addition. You've been playing Black-White for a while.
Yes.
And then they gave you a Planeswalker.
I know, it's crazy. Like, thank you for giving me Liliana. So the reason, this amplifies the fact that I play creatures, and you'll see in my list that I do not play Gideon. For one, Gideon I think is weak toward Bant Company and Green-White. But this card is just so ridiculous. Like, you can play any of the 2 drops, which you saw that I have 5 of, and just ticking up to, like, pick off Selfless Spirits, pick off Crypt Breakers, different, you know, 1 toughness creatures in the format. But being able to, like, minus her is just ridiculous. Like, later on in the game, they can't answer it. And I guess I could bring this up. I was testing a lot against Thiago Saporito, one of my teammates.
Please.
And he was champion Green-White. And the games I was really, like, destroying him, which wasn't many, was when I landed a turn 3 Liliana and the Green-White decks just had no way to fight it because they just couldn't get through the Hangerbacks, the Ialies, the removal spells, and so I would just ult when I was on the play. So the card's been pretty phenomenal in testing.
Yeah, I gotta say too, there's a lot of Liliana here this weekend. Seems like it's a real breakout Pro Tour for her.
Yeah. I can, you know, I'm the first one to stand behind the card. Like, it is phenomenal.
Makes sense. And that does sort of tweak the metagame, too. Some of the stuff that people showed up with that they think is good against Bant Company, maybe they're a little soft to Liliana, and maybe that may not work over the course of a long
definitely.
weekend.
I think it's a card that, like, like you brought up the green-black X decks, I think those decks came back a lot because when you're playing Tireless Tracker, now you're playing, like, Gravedigger that stays in play, that gets back Tireless Tracker. Like, it really provides a ton of value and allows you to go really long.
Awesome new addition to your deck and some other decks. Let's keep going. Land should be pretty straightforward.
It is. It was funny. I was looking at the Black and White Angels deck that top-8 Star City. I didn't do it on purpose. It's the same exact mana base.
Oh, funny.
And I was playing 2 Blighted Fens, and my teammates were just like, do you feel like casting Tragic Arrogance when you need it? And I was like, I do. So I cut those, and we added 2 more planes.
Yeah, we can keep going then. 8 and 5 basics, and then Gyre's Sanitarium, little new spice.
Yeah, it's great. It allows me to discard things like Ultimate Price when they're bad, Transgress the Mind when they're bad, and the greatest thing is you can discard a creature and then get the value from Liliana right away.
Oh, nice.
So it's been pretty good.
Now, you're a member of the Dex Army.
Yes.
Which is we think of mostly as sort of a South American team. You know, it's starting to become a little more international. You're like the one honorary American on the team. How does that work?
I am the one honorary American. For this PT, Dex Army broke into Dex America and Dex Europe.
Okay.
And so you're right, we have the Brazilians, Chileans, a lot of times we work with Mexicans, Spaniards, and Portuguese. And I'm the one outlier. It's kind of weird, but it works.
It does seem to be working for you.
Yeah, I've had a lot better testing. Some of the results, not necessarily this PT, but some of the results has definitely shown. So
awesome.
I love working with the guys.
And we love talking to you about the deck. They're going to get a look at Black-White. Definitely one of the more popular decks this weekend, but that's the baseline coming in. It was also one of the more expected decks this weekend. Liliana's great, but we'll see as the weekend evolves how good this deck's actually going to be. Let's send it back to Rich.
All right.